Hi, this is Maggie from Crafts the Charm. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm so glad you're here. And in today's craft, we're going to recycle some old wrapping items that you may have from Christmas. We're going to use an old bag and wrapping paper and tags and gift cards. So to begin, take a bag and you're going to take it apart and do this as neatly as you can. I chose this large bag which has this scene on the front that I thought would make a great advent calendar because it has presents, it has Santa's bag, and it has doors and windows. Lots of places that you might open up to see something inside. Now I'm going to flatten it out, but I'm not going to open it up on the side. And then I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to use 1/2 of this bag. I chose to use the side with glitter on it because I do think that advent calendars are sometimes glittery. And I'm going to remove the tag and ribbon from the top. I think that could make a nice gift tag. Now to make this a little stiffer, I'm going to use one piece of poster board. One piece of poster board is going to be large enough for my gift bag. So I'm going to cut the piece of poster board basically the size of the scene. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of poster board that size. So I just measured it on the back of the bag where the folds are, drew some lines with pencil, and cut it out with scissors. I then used photo mount spray adhesive to adhere the 2 sides together. This is something that you should use in a well-ventilated space, so I took this outside to attach the poster board to the back of the gift bag. And I didn't do a perfect job adhering that. It's raining out and I did it in the dark, but it's close enough. So the next thing is to figure out where you want those doors to be. Now I practiced on another gift bag attached to another piece of poster board, and I found that the best way to cut the doors is to cut them from the back. So there are a couple of ways you can figure out where you want those doors to be. One is to measure from the sides and the bottom of the gift bag and then just mark those on the back. I'm going to say you could also draw a grid on the back of your bag, on your piece of poster board, if you want a grid to help you keep your lines straight. I didn't do that. The other way you can do this is to hold it up to a window or a really strong light, like I have here, and trace on the back where you want those openings to be based on the image. You might then want to straighten out the corners of those before you cut them. So here's my prototype, and you can see some of the cuts are neater than others. The ones where the paper is a little bit torn, the bag on the front, are the ones that I cut on the front. So that's why we're going to cut this from the back. And you can see I put numbers in my little doors. That was just to make sure I had 24 doors. And mine are small. You might want to have larger doors so you can put larger pictures behind. And I'm going to use my box cutter knife, so I'm just going to begin with a fresh blade so that these cuts are as neat as possible. If you use a thinner bag and a thinner piece of poster board, this is very easy. So I just figured out where I wanted the doors to open. Those are the dashed lines on some of my rectangles. And then I used this metal L square to help me get my lines nice and straight, and I am using a cutting pad underneath. So just cut your 3 sides for the door, and on the 4th side where it's going to fold, I cut a little bit of a dashed line. I just cut a few little lines, making sure not to touch the top line or the bottom line. And then I folded the door inward so that I wasn't folding it in the direction it's ultimately going to fold, because I don't want it, to be worn out, to be folded out. So fold it inwards along that line so that you get a nice straight bend. And you're just going to do that for all of your doors. Now here's mine now that I've done that. It's not so easy to see where some of the doors are. So then I took the other piece of poster board and taped that just in a couple of places to the back to hold it in place. And again, I found the easiest way to see where those doors are was to put this on a strong light and trace through. Now this is the back. This is not where we're going to put the images. So once you have all of those little rectangles on the back, flip it over, hold it over the light, and trace them onto the front. Now you have a piece of poster board with rectangles on it where all of your images are going to go. And now for the really fun part, and that's to come up with the little images that are going to be behind the doors. And I think this is something that the whole family could get involved in. You can go through your favorite pieces of wrapping paper, gift cards, and old Christmas cards. I have a whole bunch of old Christmas cards that I've cut up for gift tags that I have in this box. And pick out some images that can be the prizes behind the doors. This could be fun for siblings to create advent calendars for their other siblings for next year, or just little surprises for the whole family next year when you do the advent calendar. All of them probably aren't going to make sense, but I tried to pick things that made sense. So under the presents, I tried to pick things that would be in the presents, and in the trees you can pick birds or ornaments. In the attic I put a little nest with little rodents in it, so you can have fun picking these out. And I just cut these to size and glued them on with some matte Mod Podge. Once that's done, we need to put the numbers on the doors. Now, if you have a nice fine tip paint pen that is a contrasting color that's going to show up against your image, that's probably ideal. I tried to use a white paint pen and mine was very globby. So what I ended up doing was cutting little pieces of white adhesive tags and putting those on the doors, and then just using a regular gel pen to write the numbers on those little tags. So they are very visible, but it's not as pretty as it would be if I had had a working paint pen. Once you have all your numbers on your doors, then you're going to take your piece of poster board and line it up on the back. So what I did was placed it on the back, then taped it down lightly, turned it over, and gently opened a few doors to make sure my images were lined up. And then you're going to basically wrap up the back like a present. So I used packing tape. I just wrapped or folded over those edges of the bag and used packing tape to attach the folds down to the second piece of poster board. And if it's nice and tight, everything should hold well in place. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a decorative piece of paper on the back of this as well to cover up that back piece of poster board. I did not do that. And here it is. And here it is with some of the doors opened. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Is this a good way to reuse some of those old Christmas wrapping items like bags and paper and tags and gift cards? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this sort of content, please subscribe to Crafts the Charm. Thank you for spending time with me today. Take care.